Well, it is a busy first day back on Capitol Hill. In just a few hours, new members of the Senate will be sworn in by Vice President Kamala Harris, and Republicans will take control of the upper chamber. Meanwhile, Speaker Mike Johnson could be facing a revolt in the House. Members will vote today to decide if he'll retain the gavel this session. CBS News political reporter Taurean Small is on Capitol Hill. Taurean, thanks so much for joining us. First off, let's talk about Speaker Johnson. What challenges is he facing right now? How much support does he need to hold on to his position?
Well, Michael, there are quite a few Republicans who are still upset with Johnson for conceding with Democrats in order to keep the government open. When a CR was on the table, both in September but also in December, Mike Johnson had to confer with Democrats in order to keep the government running. This is, of course, to the chagrin of Donald Trump, the incoming president, who told Republicans to hold the line, force a shutdown in order to get his agenda through early. Now, that, like I just said, rubbed a lot of Republicans the wrong way. But when it comes to his support, we got to look at the math a little bit. I didn't go to school for math. I went for journalism to avoid this. But just by the numbers, it doesn't appear that the support there is for Johnson. Republicans were able to hold on to their narrow majority in the November elections, holding on to about 220 seats on this side of the chamber. But Donald Trump is pulling about 2 Republican members to his administration, cutting it down even more. Matt Gaetz, a former Florida Republican congressman, decided, even though he won his reelection, that he won't be returning. So Republicans have about 219 now to Democrats 215. Speaker Johnson's magic number is 215, and right now I can already count 2 Republican members, Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Chip Roy of Texas, who said they're not going to support Speaker Johnson this time around. There's also a handful of other Republicans who are non-committal at best, so the numbers do not appear to be in his favor at the moment.
Wow. Well, Taurean, look, the election certification is just days away. Is there pressure on House Republicans to literally get their house in order?
Well, certainly. I mean, this optics-wise is disastrous for Republican-led House to go into a certification of a Republican president without, to not, put this in a pun, but to have this house in order, right? So I don't think we've seen a situation before where there's been a speakerless certification of the election results, but this is certainly not what Donald Trump would want to see going into his administration. That top leadership that also has an R next to its name can't get its house in order again in order to certify his win that he says is essentially a mandate of the American public. All
right, Taurean Small, thanks so much. We appreciate it. For more on how today's House vote might impact the Trump transition, let's bring in CBS News political reporter Libby Cathey. Libby, thanks so much for joining us. Now, President-elect Trump has endorsed Speaker Mike Johnson. What can you tell us about their relationship, and how influential is a Trump endorsement right now?
Good morning, Michael. It's a huge endorsement, and as Taurean just laid out, it will be a huge test today of Trump's influence over Hill Republicans. Trump endorsing Speaker Johnson formally earlier this week over Truth Social, also telling reporters outside of his New Year's Eve bash at Mar-a-Lago that Johnson is the man for the job, saying that he's well-liked and saying that he is the one who can get the most votes. Now, Johnson also saying this week that he and Trump have a good working relationship. He came down to Mar-a-Lago on Wednesday evening to meet with Trump to have some strategy sessions. Now, we didn't see any photos of Trump and Johnson come out of that meeting, but Trump's team saying he is standing by his man, and they really want to see this vote happen today. They want this to happen quickly because, as Taurean just laid out for us, the House of Representatives is due to certify Trump's win on Monday. Trump's team does not want to see a delay in that. They want to get this moving, so they're hoping that this happens in one round of voting today. That's also what we heard from Speaker Johnson. He anticipates and hopes this to be done in one round of voting, but as Taurean laid out for us, there are holdout Republicans. There are some Republicans that it's not sure what they're going to do, but Trump making clear that he wants this to get done over with quickly and that he has thrown his support behind Johnson. I will just add, we saw last month the limits of Trump's influence. For instance, on that continuing resolution, Taurean brought up, Trump tried to add into that a deal to raise or get rid of the debt ceiling. That ultimately was not done. You saw that limit. So we will see here today if House Republicans fall in line with the president-elect, Michael.
All right, Libby Cathey in West Palm Beach, thanks.